วัสดีค่ะนางสาวปิมวิดาบัวขาวฐานนักศึกษา 630-668-1492 ค่ะ
Present Paper 2. Sending your grandparents to university increases cognitive reserve. The Tasmanian Healthy Brain Project, which I will call THBP later in the presentation. The main aim of this study is to examine whether engaging healthy older adults in university-level education results in measurable change in cognitive reserve when accounting for pre-existing cognitive reserve level for each individual. And from now on, CR refer to cognitive reserve. The hypothesis of the experiments is that individuals who receive an education intervention will display an increase in CR compared to a control group. The method of this study: participants, a sample of 459 healthy older adults between 50 and 79 years of age, underwent a comprehensive annual assessment of current CR, neuropsychological function, and psychosocial factors over a 4 years period. The intervention group of 359 older adults having completed a minimum of 12-month part-time university study were compared against a control reference group of 100 adults who did not engage in further education. Measure and procedure. Participants complete a comprehensive testing battery, the Dementia Rating Scale 2, the Hospital Anxiety and Depression Scale, and the Medical Health Status Questionnaire, the Personal Wellbeing Index, and the 18-item version of the Loop and Social Network Scale as self-report questionnaires. So, basically, participants were asked to do rating scale and self-report questionnaire. They used 3 approaches to analyze the datasets. First is to calculate current CR to period CR for each participant using factor analysis, defined regression coefficients as developed and described by Ward and colleagues, 2015. Second, modeling approach, which is a growth measure modeling that was conducted using M plus 7.0 maximum likelihood with robust standard error estimation. Lastly, model evaluation. In the initial latent growth curve analysis single class, model fit was assessed by considering a range of fit indices: the likelihood ratio chi-square, the root mean square error of approximation (RMSEA), the standardized root mean square ratio (SRMR), and the comparative fit index (CFI). As a general rule, a smaller chi-square indicates a better fit. The main result of this study: growth mixture modeling demonstrated that 44.3% of the control sample showed no change in CR, whereas 92.5% of the further education participants displayed a significant linear increase in CR over the 4 years of the study. The limitations of this study: the modeling approaches utilized rely on extrapolation from an incomplete dataset. So first, the control group reached just the minimum sample size of 100, which is typically preferred for latent growth modeling. The total number of person by time observations influences statistical power. Additionally, due to the progressive recruitment of participants into the THBP over a 4 years period, the model's estimates are based on extrapolation from an incomplete dataset in which some individuals have only 1 or 2 observations over time. This may result in increases within group variability, as indicated by a larger standard error of the mean, which is more evident in the control group, and therefore less power to detect significant intercept and slope. Also, although unavoidable due to the design of the present study, the recruitment of voluntary participants into the THBP may result in a self-selection bias of older adults with an interest in pursuing further education and a history of higher-level secondary school education required for entry into university-level study. The findings of the present study indicate that engaging healthy older adults in university-level education for a minimum of 12 months results in a measurable and significant increase in cognitive reserve. Further research is planned to determine whether this increase in cognitive reserve is sufficient to offset age-related cognitive decline, and further, whether this increase in CR mitigates the risk of degenerative conditions such as dementia or delayed onset of clinical symptoms of dementia in those at risk of dementia. And lastly, this is how I cite this research paper. Thank you.